tell this guy loves Jesus, but his default reaction was to just literally just reject, pull away. On a small Instagram video that was like 30 seconds long, that basically was just asking questions about swords and angels. And that was his response. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the video. It's been a while since I posted something like this. Now, if I'm honest, I'm the type of person that processes things internally. So I love reading about stuff. I love thinking about things, but sometimes I get so much in my head and it's very hard for me to get it out. And so I thought one of the ways that might help me is to just, when I'm in these moments, when I'm in these moods, press record on the camera and kind of verbally try to get out what's going on the inside. Now, the reason why I feel like I'm in this mood today is, and you can see from the title, you may be thinking angel technology, like what is going on with this? Well, I posted a video on Instagram and it honestly did not do well at all. Probably one of my worst performing pieces of content that I've done in a long time. But I happened to just go through some of the comments. There was about 30, 40 comments on the video. And I honestly, I literally get hundreds and hundreds of comments on my videos. It's impossible for me to go through them all, but sometimes I'll take some time and just go through random videos just to see what people are saying. And so I did that with this video. And, I'm used to getting a lot of negative comments or comments that are critical of whatever I made the video about. That's fine, that's normal, used to that. But on this video, I basically, the premise of the video was I was just asking some questions. And again, Instagram is only, you can have a minute. So it's not like you can't do a lot of teaching on Instagram. And so I was thinking about angels and I was asking the questions like, why do angels carry swords? If you think about it, angels, they are supernatural beings that live in the unseen realm. They have incredible intelligence, power, strength, abilities. Think of the Marvel comic heroes. Like that's kind of how I view beings in the unseen realm, superhuman. And so I was asking the question like, why do they have to carry a sword? Like how does a piece of steel hurt a being that is so far beyond human beings? And then I was processing like, how do angels fight? Like how does one super powerful being fight another super powerful being? And if they both have swords, do they stab each other? Like how do you stab a being that's, I don't know, spiritual? And so that was basically the video. And then at the end of the video, I just said, maybe angels, we perceive them as having swords, but actually it's a different piece of technology that we would just interpret as a sword, but it's not. And that's how I left it. Now, again, when I do videos and put up content, a lot of times I do things just to get people talking, to start conversations or to get people thinking or to push them to actually, do their own study on particular subjects. So that was my reasoning for the video. But I was going through the comments and there was a lot of comments very critical for even thinking these thoughts. Even asking these questions was ridiculous. And then someone even went as far as to let me know that they're unfollowing me because of this particular video and basically saying you need to change your name from Tattooed Preacher and because you clearly don't know how to read the Bible and that they're unfollowing me. Now, I get hundreds of unfollows every month. I mean, on social media, that's just the nature of the game. I've had a number of videos that have gone viral. So when you're reaching a lot of people, there's just a massive fluctuation of people following you and unfollowing you. That's normal. And I've had lots of people send me DMs or, on different videos, let me know they're unfollowing me. I don't agree with you. I think you're up to lunch. I think you're crazy, blah, 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 blah. That's fine. But there was something about this comment that struck me on the inside that caused me to then think about, or caused me to want to actually do this video. And here's the reason. My heart, I grew up in the church my whole life. Dad was a pastor. Everyone in my family were pastors in the ministry. I myself have been a pastor for a number of years. Not currently, but have been have pastored. And I love the church. But as I've been out of the church now, or out of pastoral ministry for the last 2 years, I've realized so many Christians, their paradigms are so small. They believe in Jesus, they believe in the gospel, they're saved, they're going to heaven. They hold to the traditional, foundational, doctrinal stuff, which is great. But their paradigms are very narrow. And when you get into topics that crush that paradigm or seek to poke that paradigm or pull apart that paradigm or stretch that paradigm, their default response is, critical comments or judgment, or because they can't process anything outside of their paradigm. Now, for me personally, I enjoy thinking about the unseen realm and talking about angels and supernatural beings and, what was the world like before the flood and how does the spiritual world work? Because I think there's so much more in the Bible that the Bible talks about than typical Christians or traditional Christians even know is there. And so this stuff is already fascinating to me. And so I've read a ton of stuff and, listened to a ton of teaching. And I find this stuff fascinating. And when you look at our culture and what's happening in our culture right now, especially with the subject of aliens, 20 years, where our culture's at right now, 20 years ago, everyone would have been considered conspiracy, tinfoil hat wearing weirdos. But now you have government. Now you have literally thousands and thousands and thousands of accounts of people witnessing UFOs. And it's part of the main cultural narrative now. What I'm trying to say in all of this and why this really got me is because I just posted a video talking about angel technology just to get conversations started. And I was already met with, on a very small scale though, with harsh rejection. And it just showed me that the paradigm of Christians is so small. And when we look at what's happening with culture, and especially again with aliens, what are Christians going to think? How are they going to be able to process this information? Governments are already coming out saying it's real. Now there's a whole bunch of Christians out there, a whole bunch of people saying it's fake, and that's a whole other rabbit trail in itself. But what if it's not? The Bible is filled with stuff, filled with beings, filled with things that the average Christian doesn't even know is there. And so what happens? What happens to their faith if a lot of this stuff comes out, but their paradigm is so small that it's gonna crush their faith? And so I feel like right now in my life, I'm in this weird place. I grew up in the church, but I've also spent the last 2 years kind of studying and looking at and researching and learning about fringe topics, at least how traditional Christians would think. Topics that you're not going to hear in church. And I'm kind of caught in the middle because I'm like, I don't know what to do sometimes. Because I feel a pull kind of the both sides, because I'm trying to figure out a way to be a bridge to both worlds. Because comments like I got today, dude, you don't know the Bible. You need to change your name from preacher, man. You're out to lunch. I have to unfollow you because you just don't know what you're talking about. I could tell this guy loves Jesus, but his default reaction was to just literally just reject, pull away. On a small Instagram video that was 30 seconds long, that basically was just asking questions about swords and angels. And that was his response. Imagine if something happens culturally. Imagine as we get closer to the end, I feel, man, I worry for a lot of Christians. And I feel burdened for it. I feel burdened by this because I'm like, I feel this weight. And it would be easy for me. Honestly, it'd be easy for me to just let all that stuff go and just talk about Bible verses and do little devotionals and do little prayers, and those stuff is great. Like I still do that stuff. I still love that stuff, but that would be so much easier. But I just feel like I can't just do that anymore because I feel like there's so much more out there, and there's so much, I feel like so much of the church is asleep, and I don't want them to miss out and become deceived and have their faith shattered because their paradigms are so small. That's it. That's what I want to get off my chest. And so if you've been watching this video and you've made it to this part, just know that that's my heart, that I care about the hearts and the souls of people, and I just don't want Christians to be deceived, and I don't want their faith rocked, because there could be things as we get closer to the end that are going to rock the paradigms of so many Christians. And I don't want that. I want Christians to be on guard and ready and prepared, and to at least have the ability, the capacity to have their paradigms stretched and not be so restricted. So that's it. Now, if you have any questions, I would love for you to leave comments in the comment section below. Start a dialogue, ask anything, let me know what you thought of this video, let me know what you think, let me know if I'm out to lunch. Even if you disagree with me, again, I want to hear it. I want to hear it all. I try my best to respond to all the comments, and then we'll just go from there. So thanks so much for watching the video. And if you haven't yet already and you're watching this, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at the handle The Tattooed Preacher, same name as my YouTube name. So go check me out there, and we'll hang out. Thanks so much, and God bless.